Game 4, Stanley Cup Final. That's coming up tonight, afternoon version. World Hockey Report coming to you live, Zingo TV, channel 761, 12-ounce sports. What is up? Cody Jansen joined alongside Adam Trout today on 12-ounce sports show, brought to you by mybookie.ag. You guys already know that, though. Mybookie.ag, they'll match your deposit up to $1,000 when you use promo code 12OZSports. That easy. 12OZSports, all caps, no spaces on mybookie.ag. And we got a lot to get to. So much hockey talk. We got a big guest list lined up for next week already. We'll announce that later on in the show. But hey, to kick it off, we're going to talk some Game 3 recap. Then I got a couple other thoughts as well. We got trade talk. And we got buyouts, NHL news galore. That's going to come up around 3:20, 3:40 Game 4, and also a little Game 5 preview. That one's coming up probably around 3:40 or so. Let's bring on the big man, Adam himself, because one of the hot topics this week, and I would say honestly, it was probably the biggest social media issue that at least the social justice warriors wanted to fight about, was the NHL's price to pay video. And I mean, doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on exactly, but Adam, I mean, come on, give me your thoughts on that, because is it that outrageous that the NHL is, I'm not even going to say glorifying, but, making light of, you need to block shots if you want to win in the playoffs? I didn't think they did anything wrong. I think it was more so people are just freaking out about, oh, you shouldn't want to get injured. I mean, that's all part of winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, like the best photos post-Stanley Cup are usually with guys like black eyes or missing teeth or something like that. I can kind of see why they took it down. Like, it's the photo for the video was like Matt Barzal with stitches near his eye, like almost went blind basically. But yeah, I don't know. It's they had to take it down. I can see why maybe a couple of years ago they would have left it, but now it's like
2020, what a time. And I agree. I see how you can think it might be gruesome or gruel with, whatever. I don't think there was really any like...
That's hockey, though.
Yeah, that's... I mean, that's hockey. That's the game we love. That's the game, a lot of us were lucky enough to play. And, a lot of us, are lucky enough to make a living covering it, writing about it. Why are people trying to shoot it in the foot? Why are people trying to find the bad in everything? That's the problem, is everyone just wants to nitpick and everyone wants to, be the center of attention, and that's where we have problems. That's why you've got idiots voting Adam Fox as your Calder Trophy winner. That's why you've got idiots trying to get attention by not picking Leon Draisaitl in their top 5. Like, everything people do nowadays, and it's not even just to get attention at this point. It's literally just to like stir up controversy, to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I did something good today. I don't know. It just comes to a certain point where it's sickening and it just gets old.
Yeah, it does. But as we said, that's hockey, and that's kind of the way the Stanley Cup has always been presented. It's the hardest trophy in sports to win for a reason. Like, you don't see basketball guys with black eyes or anything.
No, if you're offended by blocking shots or taking a couple of cross checks in the teeth, hockey probably is not the sport for you. I'll tell you who that sport is for, though. Steven Stamkos. Holy. Comes back. Only played like 247, whatever. Had a snipe, and I get it, Hudobin's off his angle. But as soon as Steven Stamkos was in the lineup, it was instantly, okay, go live, bet Tampa. It's just that effect of getting a guy back after 6 months, whatever, 200 days, injecting him into the lineup, You just knew that they were going to be buzzing. You knew they were going to win. There was no stopping them. And although Dallas did have some of that momentum, a couple of stupid plays by defensemen cost them. Tampa capitalizes. That's game 3. I mean, that's a simple breakdown. I want to get your thoughts on Hudobin, though. Because I still think that, although Kucherov's breakaway shot, sure, that's a nice shot, savable goal. Stamkos' shot, he's off his angle. A couple of rebounds, couple of soft goals. You're not going to win with an .850 save percentage in the Stanley Cup Finals.
No, you're not. And what was it, against Vegas or Colorado? He was hunched over in the net and he left the game for a bit because he was pretty much winded or something like that. And I don't know. I think that's always kind of been his MO. That's probably the reason he hasn't turned into the number one workhorse, is because he just can't do it. And I mean, he's done it for almost 3 months now. But for him, it's a tough task. You're going up against what everybody's picking to be the Cup favorite from basically when they were swept last year against Columbus. So it's a tough test for him. Lord knows what's going on with Ben Bishop right now, but I don't know. It sucks for him because he's played really well, but obviously he's not a number one. And Vasilevsky's played every second for Tampa, and he still looks pretty much as good as he has.
He's still, and I get it, everyone wants to be like, oh my, how are they calling him shaky? He only allowed 2. He still hasn't looked perfect. He's still a beatable goaltender by all means. I do truly believe that. I think Dallas's big guns opted out of Game 3. They were irrelevant. They didn't show up. The only time I noticed Jamie Benn was when he took a penalty at the end there. He got a 10-minute misconduct. That's the most heated in the game. Jason Dickinson scores on a muffin on a shorty, top of the circles, just goes blocker side high. That's not a goal that should be allowed in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's what it takes, but again, Dallas just didn't have it. They just didn't feel or didn't look right. And at the end of the day, Tampa capitalized on their chances. They made them pay. Dallas can't be sitting in the penalty box. And I would say a huge game breaker, in my opinion, is the Hedman slash on Gurianov on a breakaway. And here's what really pisses me off, because do I think it's truly a slashing penalty? Probably not. But since it's been called a slashing penalty every single round of the playoffs up until this point, why now? Why now is it all of a sudden not there was way softer calls made on breakaways where a guy might get a little hook or a love tap, and it wasn't called, or it was called, pardon me, at the start of the playoffs. Now you get Hedman with a 2-hand coming down across the stick, lower hands of Gurianov, clearly affects, he can't even get a shot off on a breakaway, and they're not going to call that? That's my issue, is the NHL reffing is inconsistent, as it usually is, but something like that, I mean, come on, it's been called since we've returned to play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. Everybody goes, yeah, the whistles get put away in the playoffs and stuff like that. It's I get that the game's harder, but at the start, do you remember how many ticky-tack slashing calls there were and stuff
that's
like
what
that?
That's what I'm
meaning. It was
meaning.
ridiculous.
That's what I don't get, and I get it. It wasn't a visibly aggressive slash, he wasn't going to get hurt, but you clearly took away his scoring chance with a slashing motion. And what also pisses me off is that clearly he loses control of the puck, but if he uses a 75 flex stick, it breaks in half, he probably gets a penalty shot. I don't know, that I don't understand refs, and I never I don't think I ever will understand refs. But that stuff is just wild. And then it comes to that whole, the net comes off and they let them play. Adam, I got to get your thoughts on this, because I've argued with 70 million people. And I mean, I had a couple of arguments on Twitter. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hide it. But if that net comes off, it doesn't matter who knocks it off. You have to blow it down, do you not? Because, and I used a perfect video as an example. If they have possession, what happens if that puck gets passed back to the D-man and it goes in their own net. Like, it's happened, pretty much happens like once or twice a year now at this point. Like, what happens if Tampa Bay does that Stanley Cup Finals, game number 3, game changer? I don't know if it was 2-1 at the point or not, but let's say it's 2-1, and that goes where the net would be on. How are we even playing hockey at this point if there's not 2 nets on the ice? You blow it down or you don't. You can't let them play without it. It's the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, it is. And, like, I think the only time that really that they won't blow it down is if the play's going back the other way and they can kind of put it, I guess, back. But even then, like, the net's not really on properly. But just go back to the rest for a second. Like, I saw there was like a cross-check last game too where like a guy like bumped into another. It's a cross-check, but regardless if the refs are bad or not, Dallas needs to find a way not to be shorthanded for 6 or 8 minutes in the first period, because that's I think 2 straight games where they basically just spotted leads and made a mistake early on, and Radulov's taking bad penalties, and they just haven't really been able to play 5-on-5, and like when they have been 5-on-5, they've held their own.
Dallas has never been a team to come from behind. I know they had a couple of come from behind victories against the Flames and such, but like they're more of a team that is get a lead and lock it down. That's how they play. So for them to be spotting a team like Tampa a couple of goals, do I think they've got a chance to come back? Well, of course. But you're not going to do it when Tyler Seguin's irrelevant, when Jamie Benn's sitting in the penalty box, and when Joe Pavelski is standing in front of the net, but no one's going to shoot the puck. You know, they kind of have to put it all together. They're definitely not the most opportunistic team, but everyone knows what they need to do. Their defense are efficient. They got to get pucks towards the net. They got to get traffic in front, and that's how they're going to succeed. If they're not going to do that, they're not going to win. You're hardly going to beat Vasilevsky coming down the wing and just letting a normal shot go. He's too good of a goaltender for that. But start putting traffic in front of him, start banging away at some rebounds, get in front of his eyes, and Dallas has a chance once again. But as you said, you know, you get down 2 or 3 against Tampa, good luck. Not going to happen. Not in the Cup Finals.
Yeah, Tampa's not Calgary.
Not at all. That's a tale of 2 worlds right there. Adam, I mean, we've watched enough hockey up until this point, and I want to get your thoughts on a play that happened in the 3rd period where Dallas is down, they're down 5-2, 10 minutes left. Andre Sekera, whatever you want to call him, gets the puck up top at the blue line, perfect switch with his defense partner, walks into one. And he was down by the hash marks. Great opportunity, misses the net by 3 feet. And that, he had Vasilevsky moving. It really felt like an opportunity where a Miro Heiskanen, a John Klingberg, Jamie Oleksiak, he's got 5 tucks in the playoffs. How are you? Anyone but Sekera on that chance, if they score on that now, it's a 2-goal game. They're on a 2-goal run there. That would have changed it, in my opinion. 2 goals, you're still in a hockey game. Dallas doesn't care if they got to play 6-5 games. But, I don't want to put it on Sekera, but, holy, was that a game changer, in my opinion. They had some momentum.
Yeah, they did there. And, that goal, you get it within 2, and you say, okay, because, the difference between 2 and 3 seems monumental. But
huge.
Also, at the same time, if you're Tampa, you should be aware of who's on the ice, and are you really covering the point for Andre Sekera as you would for John Klingberg or Heiskanen? Probably not. So, that's the Sekera special. Watching him all those years with the Oilers, he fired into a shin pad usually, so at least he got it past there.
What do you do if you're Rick Bowness and Tyler Seguin has been struggling? I don't know. He's on a milk carton if I've ever seen someone there. But, man, he's had a couple of chances. He can't buy one. I don't know, is he gripping the stick too tight? Is he not trying hard enough? Who knows at this point? Is he injured? But, what do you do with him? He's been a liability out there. He's turning the puck over. He's not scoring. And, frankly, he's starting to weigh him down.
Yeah. Well, even if he was injured, and maybe that's the case, but a lot of guys are injured, and Stamkos clearly is injured, and he scored last game. But, he's forcing so many things right now. Like, even on the power play, he's been useless, and like, he's taken a one-timer when there's nobody in front of the net. He's trying to force a play on the breakout through 3 guys. It's going back the other way, and like, that has nothing to do with injury. That's your own brain telling you to do those things. And clearly his confidence is shot. Maybe being in the bubble is getting to him, is what people have also suggested. And also, like, Brian Burke said this, like, he respects his ability to go down and forecheck and hit a guy and play good two-way hockey. I guess it's just one-way defensively at this point, but like, at $9.8 million or whatever he's getting paid, you could find a guy a hell of a lot cheaper to play defensive hockey. Like, you get Derek Ryan to do the same thing for $3 million and get a winger who'd score for 6. But he's been horrible, and like, you don't want to hope a guy's injured, but like, for his sake and getting out of this, you'd hope there's something wrong. But even then, like, it's still not affecting. It shouldn't be affecting his ability to make a play.
No kidding. And I got to go back to this one because it sends out our comments and says, hey, the play won't be blown out. This is on the net coming off. The play won't be blown dead until the opposing team touches the puck. Simple. It's not simple, and that's what I've been explaining with idiots for, like, the past 48 hours. What happens if Tampa ends up putting that back in their own, where the net should be? How do you not count that as a goal? And that's my issue with it, is that it's happened before, and now you run the risk of having that happen in the Stanley Cup final. It would be such a black eye on the league if a play like that took place, because it would be absolutely embarrassing for the game of hockey. And I don't know, it's just stupid, and no linesman even goes to fix the net. So I don't know. Any last thoughts on Game 3 there, Adam?
No, we'll get to Game 4.
Yeah, we'll get to Game 4 later. Yeah. Hey, let's we'll take a break. We'll step aside here. We're gonna come back. We got a lot of NHL news, actually, a lot of trade talk going on. Bobby Ryan bought out. That was a shocker. We're gonna get to this one. It's World Hockey Report Live, 12-ounce Sports Zingo TV. Cody Jans and Adam Ermintrout with you here. It's a great Friday on World Hockey Report.
Did a lot of great things before I arrived as the brand owner. And one of the things they did incredibly well was create this carbon fiber skate. There were some perceived deficiencies from my end, aesthetically and maybe even functionally. The comfort roll edge up on top, softening that material, changing the interior liner to make it a better performing and faster drying liner. We worked to make the skate function better as well by changing the carbon fiber to a Japanese grade carbon fiber that actually relieved about 30% of the carbon fiber weight of the skate. So we added an increase in not only the performance of the skate because of making it lighter, but we are actually getting more flex in the skate because of the quality of the carbon fiber that we altered out.
Try on a pair of skates. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, you pick this product up, it's as good, if not better, than any of the top-end product that's out there in the marketplace.
The Mercury skate became incredibly comfortable, and it became more durable, and it also performed better by being able to interact with the foot a lot better through the skating stride. Verbero is living proof of what a skate should cost, a high-end skate with the most advanced materials and construction, right? So if people understand that this is what a skate should cost, eventually they should understand that they shouldn't buy the competitor's skate.
Hold the mask, pinch the nose, gives you a nice fresh air vent, covers the whole chin, or if you're gonna go get a haircut, you can wrap it around your neck, like so.
We'll Talk Report Live. Cody Jansen with you here. It is Friday. What's up? September 25th, coming to you from the Great White North Show, brought to you by Coco Vodka, Coco Rum. You guys already know what it is. They are our official drink of the Stanley Cup Finals, and they are legit. This stuff, I'm telling you, unbelievable, refreshingly different. Cocoa vodka and rum combines real natural coconut water from the Philippines, triple distilled vodka or smooth Puerto Rican white rum, and a splash of sparkling water. Cocoa vodka and rum, started by two Canadians with a plan. Come up with a healthier summer drink that's made with quality ingredients. Ditch those bland seltzer waters that no one actually likes, and opt to that beer bloat. Cocoa vodka, cocoa rum, absolutely a vacation in a can. Cocoa Vodka and Rum, available at BSW Liquor in Sherwood Park in Calgary. Great Canadian liquor stores in Alberta, Calgary Co-op locations, and even right here in the Fort at Econo Liquor. What's up? Nice little shout out for those guys right across the street. Don't forget, order online, enjoycoco.com. Enjoy the Coco life with World Hockey Report. Go pick yourself up a case today. Check them out, enjoycoco.com. That's enjoycoco.com. NHL news, trade talk. We gotta get to it because, it has been busy. Bobby Ryan. What am I saying? Bobby Ryan got bought out. That was the news of the day right there. I get it, the Jeff Petrie deal. We're gonna dive into that. I gotta get your thoughts, Adam. I mean, Bobby Ryan, the Ottawa Senators, just when you think that organization can't stoop any lower, other than, just basically saying, hey, you've been the best goalie ever, Craig Anderson. Now please leave and sign with someone else. They just go and buy out the Masterton winner. I don't know. What was your thoughts when you saw it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of shitty of Ottawa. Like, I can maybe see why they did it. Just our money is going to these kids or that place. We want to open up a spot for a guy like maybe Drake Batherson or Josh Norris or something like that. And then whatever two guys they select in the top five who might be on their team. But also at the same time, it's like, did you really have to buy out a guy just to save a couple bucks this year? Like, when in 2 years it's done, and it's not like you're using the cap space on anything. So a little weird. Obviously, he went through a lot the last couple of years in Ottawa, but still a really, really good player. I think he could play second, third line, second unit power play. You accidentally said Corey Perry, but that's with reason, just because Perry got bought out by Anaheim, and then he signed a 1 year, $1.5 million deal, but basically it was like a 1 year, $3 million deal with games played bonuses, like $250,000 at 10, 20, 30, 40 games, $250,000 for playoffs, and then $150,000 for the Stanley Cup. So I could see him signing that type of deal with a contender, just seeing where he wants to go. He's a kind of like a Philly area, New Jersey guy, so maybe there's room on the Flyers for him.
I don't know where he really fits into as ideally a third line guy, I'd say, right? Like, I don't think you really see him on your fourth line if you're a championship team, but I would say he's a solid third line guy. And so who could use a guy like that? If I'm being honest, Anaheim should be knocking. Anaheim should be using a guy of leadership like that. They could easily use a depth forward, someone with skill, bring him back to California. That just seems like a logical spot, if you ask me. I don't know. I mean, maybe in LA.
More contender.
Yeah, like I get it. Like, you probably want to be on a contender, but what contender? Like, let's look. The Isles, I don't see it happen. He ain't playing for Lou. The Flyers, nope, not in that forward lineup. Tampa, Boston, I don't know, maybe Boston finds a way.
Yeah, Boston needs help on the right side. They were talking about potentially Chase on there. Like, I could see it. Like, a couple of years ago when the Sens went to the playoffs, he was absolutely dynamite.
Oh, no, he's still, unbelievable forward. Like, what do you get, a hat trick in his game back? Like, this guy's got a scoring touch.
42 points last year.
Yeah,
like,
he's got a draw.
Ottawa think that their leaders are going to be other than Ron Hainsey this year. Like, they don't, they're letting it go. Borowiecki, who seemed to be the only one who hadn't any idea what the owner was doing, and then Craig Anderson.
Good guy, by the way.
Bobby Ryan too.
Good guy, by the way. But yet again, like Borowiecki, I mean, yeah, there's not enough good things you can say about him as a person, as a leader. Player on the ice, probably not your go-to guy. The Sens are just the biggest dumpster fire in the league. Like, it's an absolute joke at this point. I mean, their fans don't even like it. They can't sell out a playoff game. They can't spend to the cap. They can't keep players there. Players don't want to be there. At this point, I mean, Eugene Melnick's just making a fool of himself. Like, I totally understand not wanting to pay Bobby Ryan $7.5 million for what he's going to bring to your team this year. But after this guy got you so much attention for winning a Masterton trophy where everyone's going, wow, that was pretty cool of Ottawa to bring this guy back, let him get help, let him get things sorted out. I just don't even understand Ottawa at this point. Like, whatever, enjoy your 2D logo, you idiots.
Yeah, I'm confused with them, and obviously the teams, I saw a tweet, it was like, if you win an award with the Senators, you're getting dished, like Carlson with the Norris, Paul McLean with the Jack Adams, and now Bobby Ryan. But yeah, they need to turn it around, and I mean, if they wanted to spend money, like, they could at least be somewhat competitive next year and not be a complete joke, and they could bring in a lot of guys with all the cap space they have, but they just seem keen on locking into their young guys, and they signed that Colin White deal, and it was a really rough year for him, honestly. And I don't know, like, they gave a guy $25 million. He had 7 goals this year, so maybe need to hold up there. Like, Brady Tkachuk's gonna get a big number. We'll see with them. Like, nobody really knows for a couple of years with that team.
Yeah, they've got some good pieces, but yet again, it's a dumpster fire. They're never going to win a cup. It's just not going to happen in Ottawa. That's just shooting it straight. We got to move on, though. We got to talk other. Let's talk about the Skeevier Matheson for Hornquist trade. I mean, Hornquist, some nice little shade there. Pretty much said, hey, as soon as I heard that Pittsburgh didn't want me, I was totally happy to go to Florida. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but also, like, Why does Pittsburgh want to eat a guy like Matheson's contract? Why on earth do they feel like that's a move you should be making when you still have Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin in your lineup?
Yeah, and I mean, Matheson, his career high in points is 27 in 2018, and then last year he's a minus 24. This year he played 59 games, had 20 points, and I think some of those games were at Ford, to be honest with you. Yeah,
who knows?
I really don't understand it from Pittsburgh's standpoint at all. Like, now they got Dumoulin, Pettersson, Jack Johnson, who everyone despises there, and now Mike Matheson too. And to give up a guy like Hornqvist, I know he's getting a little older and stuff, but that's a guy who seemed to do a lot for that team. And I mean, they bring in Kapanen, who's maybe a little faster straight ahead, but Kapanen proved in Toronto he can really play with the top guys, and Hornqvist is showing in Pittsburgh clearly that he can. And I really like this deal for Florida because, one, they moved a contract that was considered unmovable, and two, Quenneville thought they got pushed around last year, and they get a guy who can really play with anyone in a top 6 or top 9 role, and he's got some bite to his game, so I think it'll make the Panthers a better team.
I would really like to know what people think of this trade, because from my perspective, it makes no sense. So I don't know, are other people seeing what I'm not, or how is this going to even work out for Pittsburgh? Like, what's the point of eating some of these contracts, bringing in all right players, and unless they got something bigger in the works, I just don't see it happening. Another rumor, though, that was kind of getting thrown out on social media, Marc-Andre Fleury. I know Alan Walsh isn't going to admit that he wants a trade, but, Alan Walsh will probably just post a meme about it a couple months down the road. Could you see Pittsburgh bringing back Fleury for the remainder of his contract, letting him ride off into the sunset? Is that something? And I know Pittsburgh's got this, self-proclaimed salary cap, but are they kind of at the point where they're just like, you know what, let's be competitive. Maybe we bring back Fleury to try and draw in some more fans, and we let him ride off into the sunset, win or lose. Get rid of Matt Murray too. That's also the second part of that.
Murray's pretty much out the door, anyways. I think Fleury only in a buyout scenario, 100%. I think Pittsburgh is where he would go back to. His comments yesterday to Jesse Granger of The Athletic were interesting, where he said, I want to end my career here, and then he said, I wanted to end my career here, so it was like, it kind of seemed like he was talking a little past tense. Vegas has to do something to make that contract disappear, I guess, or they'd have to eat money or something. I'm not sure, but Fleury back to Pittsburgh would make sense. It'd actually be a great tandem with him and Tristan Jarry, but then you have Casey DeSmith, who you're paying like 1.1 to play in the minors, right?
Yeah, but you're not going to go with DeSmith and Jarry as your goaltending tandem. Like, if you're going to do that, and I get it, Jarry's an all-star, whatever, they didn't trust him enough to play him in playoffs, Adam. Like, this is a guy who, and I get it, he might be an all-right NHL goaltender. He's not going to win you a cup, and he's not going to win you that many NHL playoff series. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, but I think Rutherford sees it happening, where he said something like, yeah, Matt Murray's gone, and we like Casey DeSmith in a backup role, so I think you do the math, and that's who they're going with, for whether it's right or wrong. But I don't know. Clearly they wanted Murray to prove something to them in that little play-in series against Montreal, and he didn't even last the series.
That's fair. That's fair. Moving along, Craig Anderson. I mean, if he signs, give me a team who you think could use him in his, leadership roles. And I get it. Everyone wants to rip on him for his past 3 years. Sure, he hasn't been amazing, but he's played on the worst team in the NHL, and he still posted above 900 save percentage. That's more than a lot of goalies have. And I mean, we're still talking about some of those sub 900 goaltenders making millions in upcoming years. So I don't know. I still think Craig Anderson has a little bit of leadership to offer, and I still think that he could work out in the right situation. I'm just not exactly sure where yet.
I don't know. I think like a team like the Islanders, who's going to lose Bryce, the Devils, who would need a veteran backup for Blackwood, or
you just took it right there. That was mine. That's mine. It's New Jersey,
San
and it's for
Jose
Blackwood.
Martin Jones, I guess. I don't know. I think also the Islanders, to me, and this was rumored a couple of years ago, if Lundqvist gets bought out, do you not think he signs there?
No, because they've got Sorokin and Varlamov.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't see him really leaving, but yeah, I think the Devils probably, like, he's not going to like a contending team to play 30 games.
No, if Lundqvist gets bought out, he's done. I don't see that. And it's not to say that he can't play anymore, but like when you spend your whole career with one team, like there has to be some part of you that's like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to retire a Rangers legend. I'm just going to call it. That's good. I don't see him being like, oh, I really want to go back up Antti Raanta in Arizona. Like, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, maybe like a Florida, Arizona, like retirement home type thing.
Maybe but like Florida's gotten Drager. Like, I don't see him going to New Jersey. Like, that's kind of been their rival for however long. Like, you don't want to go to New Jersey and just get shellacked every game by the Rangers and Islanders. I don't see any. I don't see any possible series. Maybe Minnesota.
Honestly, like
maybe Minnesota. I mean, winter sucks there, but whatever. That could work out for him. Okay, Puljujarvi. A lot of rumors. He's signing in Edmonton. Why has this not happened already? What is going through this kid's mind that makes him think, I want to be a scoring winger in the NHL, and I don't want to play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? It makes no sense to me, and I don't know why this is why this is still being dragged out. Like, is there some serious issues with this kid where he's an absolute basket case, or did he just have the worst experience in the world in Edmonton? Because he's still, he's still a high-end prospect. He still has goal-scoring capabilities. I just don't see where the issue is. I don't see how the Oilers can be that bad of an organization where this kid is not going to sign here.
Yeah, I don't really understand it either. And like the coach is different, the GM's different. It's just different, and clearly he felt that the old group soured him too much. But at the end of the day, if he wants to look in the mirror and maybe he's doing this just given he's probably going to come back to Edmonton is if he looks in the mirror, he goes, I played in the NHL, I had my chance in the NHL, and I got sent down to the minors, right? Like, it's not like he was lighting up the NHL and then Edmonton's like, maybe we'll just send you down to the minors just to develop you a little more. He wasn't ready for the NHL, so you have to go to the minors, and that's on. You can say it's on the coaches all you want, and maybe if he's only getting 8 or 9 minutes of ice time, but like, there's been guys who get 8 or 9 minutes of ice time and they move up in the lineup because they do well with those 8 or 9 minutes, and clearly he didn't, or else he wouldn't be in this situation. But I mean, if Edmonton can get him at $900,000 or $1 million or whatever the number is going to be, that's hopefully a good top 9 winger you need on the cheap, which is what pretty much fits their bill.
Exactly. Like, from my perspective, like, I think he's an easy replacement for Athanasiou. I think he's a replacement for Ennis. You know, like, a
cheaper Chaselon probably if you decide to move on there.
Exactly. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me why he hasn't signed, why this hasn't worked out. And I don't know, is it agent issues? Like, his agency, I believe, just like kind of merged with McDavid's. Like, yeah. I'm so confused on this situation. One more before we get to commercial here. Sounds like the Jets are taking calls on Patrick Laine, and Philly and Columbus are the two teams that have been, getting on the phone talking about him. Do you think Winnipeg's ready to move on from Patrick Laine? I mean, obviously he'd be a great fit in Philly where they could use someone who can shoot the puck. Columbus, I don't see it working out, like him playing for Torts, but like, what are the Jets doing if they're going to start moving some of these young pieces? Because I don't know what you're going to get back other than draft picks.
A Travis Seinheim, Patrick Laine swap could maybe make sense. Seinheim's from Manitoba, but yeah, I think Winnipeg would obviously be strongly considering moving on from Laine. Like, it just hasn't. I'm not going to say it hasn't worked, but like, there seems to be too much smoke there where he's not happy that he's not playing with Scheifele and Wheeler, and then he gets a bridge contract, and then he like, what do you have, like 18 goals that one November and then 13 the rest of the year? Like, yeah. And like, I get it for him. Like, you're a scoring winger, you want to play with the best centerman, and there's a very big drop off in Winnipeg going from Mark Scheifele to Andrew Copper, whoever the second line center was, and the 2 years prior to this, they traded for Paul Stastny and Kevin Hayes. So, I mean, I can see why, but Winnipeg's a team that they have a bunch of good wingers like Ehlers, Connor, Blake Wheeler, Jack Roslovic, Laine, but I think they're strongest on the wing and weakest up the middle and on the blue line. And if you trade a winger, you're hoping to get like a good second line center or a good top four defenseman. So, again, like, what's more valuable, a second-line center or a top-6 winger? Probably the centerman. So I can see it. The Philly thing could make sense. The Columbus thing obviously doesn't. Carolina, too, but...
But with Columbus, they got that Jarmo Kekalainen in charge. Finish. I mean, Kekalainen, got to see him grow up, play with Puljujarvi, World Juniors, Aho. Like, there's some connection in there. The Torts thing, totally understand.
I don't think Columbus has, like, their resources, because they're not trading Jones or Werenski, and then it's like, okay, they want to, and Columbus doesn't really have draft picks from all their trades for Duchesne and stuff, and then there's just like, what defenseman are you getting? Ryan Murray? Like, that doesn't really move the needle.
No, that's fair. I obviously that's a little bit of a deeper dive. We gotta get to commercial break, but I gotta throw this out there, Adam.
Petrie too.
Oh. Yeah, okay, let's push this back. We got to talk Jeff Petrie. 4 years, 6.25. Congrats. How are you? Get paid, cash that ticket. Like, is that not a pretty good deal for what he brings to that team? He's one of the more underrated defensemen. And when you look at others who are making around that $6 million range, like, Petrie seems like a pretty decent deal. Like, I mean, he can do it all. He can provide some offense. He's great defensively. He's a pretty mobile guy. He can move around. And I bet you the Edmonton Oilers would love to have him on their damn team.
Yeah, it's a great deal. And, I mean, you look at last year, player A had 13 goals and 28 assists for 41 points. Player B had 13 goals and 33 assists for 46 points. Player A is Alex Pietrangelo, who's going to get a 7 or 8 year deal at what, 9 or 10 million a year, and Jeff Petrie just signed for 4 years at 6.25. So I think it's a great deal for him, and it's a great deal for Montreal also. Like, he was arguably their best or second best defenseman this year with him and Weber, and
He was better than Weber this year. I mean,
yeah, so I think Montreal's quietly rounded out a nice top 4 or 5 here with Weber and Petrie on the right side, and then Sherrod, who's a very underrated player, and Joel Edmondson, who can be like your number 4 or 5 guy. So on the back end, this looks really good for Montreal.
exactly. No, you are dead on there. I just got, this is credit to Luke Fox, Sportsnet. Ottawa's projected cap hits the NHL lowest, $42 million before buying out Bobby Ryan. Will be interesting to see how they reach the floor this year. That's a joke. Like, I get it, you don't want to implement a minimum spending, but that is pathetic. Anyone else we missed? I mean, we've just been flying through trade talk. I haven't been checking off anything on my notes here. Was there anyone that you wanted to talk about?
Not yet, but I think things are going to be firing up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, we got buyout period, we got draft coming up, we got free agency. It's going to be great. Hey, we're going to talk game 4 and 5, though. Stanley Cup, it's a big one, though, because, I mean, this is back-to-backs. This is momentum. And, yes, we are going to break all of that down. It's Cody Jansen, Adam Ermentrout with you here. World Hockey Report Live coming to you, 12-ounce Sports, Zingo TV, channel 761. We're going to be back after the break.
Did a lot of great things before I arrived as the brand owner. And one of the things they did incredibly well was create this carbon fiber skate. There were some perceived deficiencies from my end, aesthetically and maybe even functionally. The comfort roll edge up on top, softening that material, changing the interior liner to make it a better performing and faster drying liner. We worked to make the skate function better as well by changing the carbon fiber to a Japanese grade carbon fiber that actually relieved about 30% of the carbon fiber weight of the skate. So we added an increase in not only the performance of the skate because of making it lighter, but we are actually getting more flex in the skate because of the quality of the carbon fiber that we altered out.
Try on a pair of skates. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, you pick this product up, it's as good, if not better, than any of the top end product that's out there in the marketplace.
The Mercury skate became incredibly comfortable, and it became more durable, and it also performed better by being able to interact with the foot a lot better through the skating stride. Verbero is living proof of what a skate should cost, a high-end skate with the most advanced materials and construction, right? So if people understand that this is what a skate should cost, eventually they should understand that they shouldn't buy the competitor's skate.
Pull the mask, pinch the nose, gives you a nice fresh air vent, covers the whole chin, or if you're gonna go get a haircut, and wrap it around your neck, like so.
So we'll talk Report Live. Cody Jansen with you here on 12-ounce Sports, Zingo TV, channel 761. Boy, it's Friday afternoon, feeling it. We got Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals in September. They don't even have to compete with NFL today and tomorrow. The schedule just worked out perfectly in the NHL's favor. We got Stars, we got Bolts, Game 4 coming up, couple hours time. Hey, of course, if you want to keep your drinks cold while watching the game, 2D Wrap. It's got to be your go-to. Time to ditch that traditional koozie. 2D Wrap is the ultimate universal drink insulator. Fits any beverage, hot or cold. Made in Canada. 2D Wrap. Made with high-grade military neoprene. Highest quality product possible. Strong and durable. 2D Wrap keeps your drink hot or cold for hours on end. Check them out today. 2dwrap.com. That's TUDIWrap.com for the best drink accessory in the game. Adam, we got games 4 and 5 tonight. Game 4 tonight, game 5 tomorrow. I mean, what a weekend. What a way to start.
I know, and I guess first, like, we haven't really touched on those awards yet. Like, like we were saying, it was a weird show. Like, they were announcing, like, the Jack Adams, like, 3 weeks ago, and then they were just waiting to do these ones. And, I mean, I don't know, it wasn't really much of a show. It was, like, Scott Oak standing and, like, in an empty arena. Like, I didn't really watch it. It was just, I turned it on. It's like, yeah, I can just find out through Twitter. Like, it's not like you really need much. And Mark Messier seems to have a stamp on everything the NHL does for some reason. But weird, like, I get not really any surprises. Like, the Calder could have gone either way. The Draisaitl winning the Hart and Lindsay was pretty obvious. But, like, some of the votes, and, like, they make the votes public, but, like, who the hell, as you said, is giving Adam Fox a first place vote? Actually, I know it was Murray Attis or whatever. I think he's an Athletic Jets guy. And then, like, who in their right mind voted Zdeno Chara and Drew Doughty as, like, 5th place votes for the Norris? Like, Zdeno Chara had 14 points this year, and, like, it's not about points, but, like, you could find 45 other defensemen ahead of him, and honestly, people were saying Drew Doughty was horrible this year. Like,
here's who votes for them. It's podcast hosts who want him to come on their show. Here's a 5th place vote. Do me a solid this summer.
Yeah, like, it's some fanboys, and, like, it's, like, funny how offended people get. Like, if, like, the guy off their team doesn't win, it's like, look, like, you work for covering the team. You don't get work for being a fan of the team or anything like that. Like, just pick whoever you want, like, or pick whoever you think is the best. Stop worrying about him giving you a good interview answer. Like, and a lot of the time, like, these guys know if they're worthy of a vote or not, right?
Oh, exactly. Like, I don't think Zdeno Chara or Drew Doughty are making cases to their parents tonight that they should have been Norris, like, winners. Drew
Doughty would probably be the first person to say he had a horrible season.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I don't know, why do they even have 5? Like, what's the point system at this point? Like, you should just get, like, a top 2, pretty much. Like, if you're not top 2, what's the point? I can't imagine there's ever been a tie. Like, it's pretty clear Leon Draisaitl is the best player in the NHL this season. And the only award that matters is the one that really proves our point, in that the players voted him as the best player in the NHL. Like, shouldn't that say enough? Like, if the players are the ones going, hey, we had to play against this guy. He was the best player in the NHL. There's no question about it. They all saw what he did with that Oilers team when McDavid was out. NHL players know what he was working with, and they know what he can do. So I don't know, why are we even letting writers vote on it? And I mean, yeah.
Well, that's why, like, the Vezina's good too, because I think that one is the one the GMs pick.
Okay, it very well could be. Honestly, I'm not as informed on this stuff as I should be. It just doesn't make sense to me. Honestly, let the players pick every award. I would put way more weight on these awards if the NHL players picked every award. I don't care if it's Vezina, the Hart, whatever.
Or, like, for the Jack Adams, like, maybe have pro scouts or, like, assistant coaches vote for the Jack Adams. Like that, like, so, like, because they actually know, like, a guy sitting up in the press box covering the
I think GMs.
Like, oh, they have a nice 1-3-1. Like, I don't think they've ever said that.
I think GMs would be good for that.
Yeah, like something like that. Just not, like, media guys who are watching these games on, like, Sportsnet, like, at home. Like,
yeah, they're tracking everyone's Corsi and shit. Can't stand that. Analytics-wise, though, Steven Stamkos, we can probably just hand him the Conn Smythe if you ask about half a dozen hockey reporters who don't watch the game and just go off his statistics. But
once per 60.
Let's move along. Game 4, though, tonight. Adam, give me 2 takeaways or 2 keys to tonight's game.
Well, I think for Dallas, like, scoring first is obvious, but like them getting off to a good start hasn't happened since game 1, and even then, like they almost pissed that one away. But Dallas, like, getting off to a good start and like Jamie Benn throwing a hit or something, that'd be huge. And for Tampa, I think they need to manage that Stamkos isn't playing, because they got a pretty big boost from that. But I think Tampa has to realize that there's a back-to-back, and like they could win the cup literally tomorrow night. But they have to look past that, I think, or look ahead of that, whatever.
I agree, and I think for Tampa Bay, them coming out is going to be huge. And you can't be getting outshot 2-1 in the first period, because I don't think Haskin makes that mistake twice in a series, and I don't think Lindell makes that mistake twice in a series. You got to imagine Hudobin's going to be dialed in. If not, it's over. But for Dallas, their big guns got to shine. No one is going to be talking about Tyler Seguin's mediocre season and terrible playoffs if he gets a hat trick in the Stanley Cup Finals. If that happens, everything is washed away and Seguin's back, baby. Jamie Benn, you're not scoring from the penalty box. You're not making any difference from there. It's time to step it up, play big boy hockey. The D-men have to start getting more pucks through. And I think it's kind of, if Dallas wants a chance, their leaders got to be leaders. That's really what it comes down to. Is they're a team that scores greasy goals and they just get it done the ugly way. Whereas Tampa, they'll beat you with pretty goals. If you want to play that style, good luck. Hudobin ain't stopping any of that side-to-side stuff. And you got to stay out of the box. I mean, you can't take all those penalties. Dallas's penalty kill is not bad. It's not good enough to kill off 5 or 6 penalties a game against Tampa Bay.
Nope.
Not at all. Alrighty, that's going to do it. That's a good show. That's anything else we missed? I guess we missed the whole KHL thing. I did have that written down in my notes, Adam. Did you see? They've got like 123 players that have tested positive for COVID this season.
Yeah, and like I heard a story the other day from Frank Corrado. He was saying that like he had a buddy that played over there, and that they like literally how they're handling COVID in the dressing room is like the guy will get it and they'll put like an X with tape over his stall, and like that's what it is. And like he was saying, he's getting Snapchats from his buddy, just like, oh, another one bites the dust type thing. Like just like they're not even like honestly, I think outside of Canada, and you see that there's like fans at NFL games and all this shit, I don't even know if like they think like the virus still exists outside of Canada, and Toronto shutting things back down tonight. Europe is a little different, but I mean Russia, like the KHL, as long as those guys are getting their money, like I don't think they care, honestly.
That's the biggest thing. I think like what's Russia without hockey? It's nothing. It's just like another like communist country essentially. Like they don't have hockey, they got nothing. So like they need hockey going. They need fans because they need that revenue. And like Scott St. Petersburg's average age was like 21 the other night. Maybe it was like 24. It was something stupid. But still, like I don't know. It's such a joke. And then like even see like the Czech Republic. I got buddies that are playing over there, and like everything's shut down. But then you like see videos and they're all like drinking out of the same tap like farm animals. It's wild. It's like it's the 1920s, and you're like, well, no wonder COVID's spreading. I don't know, it's just insane, some of the stuff over there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like it's crazy how they just, I don't know. I really don't know like what their protocol is. I don't even know if they have one.
No, I don't think they have one. Adam, are you still golfing? We haven't talked golf in a while, so we got like 2 minutes. Like, are you still getting out now that you're busy back on the books?
Yeah, usually just like 9 or 12 holes, just like after, like usually we can only get on after like 3 or 4, so it's only dark, like light enough for 9 or 12, but
Twilight
it's
dark.
it's honestly like perfect golf weather right now. Like it's like 15, kind of cold, but like not too cold to play, and looks all nice with the leaves and stuff.
Other than the courses are a little bit rough around this, what's your best 9 so far this year then, if you're just golfing evenings?
The other day I think I was 5 over, so a 42.
Okay, that's not bad. It's tough.
It was a bad start, but like parred out after 5.
tough courses in Stoon too. That was I shot a 39 at Whitetail here. That's my best round of the year. Northern Bear was tough. That was there's some unreal courses up here, but it's especially once you get to this time of year too. Like the greens are weird.
Yeah, the course I play at, like there's a stretch like 3, 4, and 5 where 3 is like a 440-yard par 3, 4 is a 380-yard par, or no, 440-yard par 4, and then like a 380-yard par 4 with a bunch of water and an elevated green, and then 5's like a 215-yard par 3. So it's like if you get out of there like 1 or 2 over, you're happy with it.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, those 200 plus par 3s get me because like I'll be using
like
like
a hybrid or a wood.
Well, I'll try go with like a 3 iron, and I'm just gonna try roll it up. Like I'm gonna try stripe it good, and like it's always gonna end up veering off if I'm hitting it 220. Like I don't know. I just don't have it figured out. Alrighty, buddy. No, that was great. Great show on Friday. Appreciate all the insight as always. Adam Ermantrout. Go follow him on Twitter. Ermantrout right there. That's gonna do it. Game 4 prediction. Adam, hit me with it. What's happening?
I'll go Dallas 3-1.
Dallas 3-1. Oh man, I was thinking 4-2. And yeah, I'll go Dallas 4-2. I'll stick with it. Our conversations have me thinking twice. I'll stick with it. Dallas 4-2. That's going to do it. World Hockey Report Live. We're going to be back here on Monday. Great guest lined up. Eddie Lack, Ron Duguay. Yes, we got 2 NHLers on Monday, and we're going to be recapping. Will we be talking about Tampa lifting the cup? I don't know. I don't think so. We're going to talk then. Until then, peace out. Be kind. Be better.